Good afternoon, Villa fans, and welcome to a Transfer Talk episode looking at, in particular, is it time for Matty Cash to move on? Is it time for Villa to upgrade at right back? I really do think so. This isn't just recency bias, given his error with the back pass against Man United, but I felt for quite a while now that Matty Cash has he's done well for us over the years, first of all. Give him his due and his credit. But I feel as though Villa are moving on, and we're moving on at a pace that I think Matty Cash is restricting us at the right back position. I know that we looked at the right back situation in January, obviously brought in Andres Garcia, but I do believe that we need someone that's going to be more of a first team option, perhaps. And maybe Matty Cash's days at Villa are numbered. I like Matty Cash as a person. He interviews incredibly well, comes across incredibly kind of humble and very respectful, but seems like a really nice guy. But when we see him on the football pitch, we've all kind of seen him sort of make 5 yards up the pitch, check back, pass it back to sort of Konsa or Kamara, whoever it might be. And it's just like sometimes we just need someone to be a little bit more positive on that right-hand side. So I just wanted to have a chat about, what the right back situation is. Obviously, we've got 3 right backs at the club at the moment, 4 really. So we've got Matty Cash, we've got Andres Garcia, who was brought in obviously in January, and obviously he's just, I think, having a slow kind of bedding in period into both sort of Premier League and also UK life, obviously coming from Spain. Obviously, Kosta Nedeljkovic, we signed. I thought he was a promising youngster. We've loaned him out to RB Leipzig, who are, 50-50 whether they want to take him on a perm. It looks like he could be coming back. We've got Kane Kessler-Hayden, who's coming back to the club, although there are rumours that a move to the Championship could happen. I think there are a couple of clubs looking at him. Coventry, I think, have been mentioned with a bid, and that would be obviously pure profit, which is obviously what we need to do to balance PSR books. So I can see Kane Kessler-Hayden kind of moving on, given that we've got Andres Garcia, who's of similar age, and then we've got obviously Kosta Nedeljkovic, who also could be moving on as well. So we need to look at some incomings in that right back position, and hopefully players that will improve us. I've had a look at transfer market and having a look at sort of various sort of right backs that are out there, and trying to keep this as realistic as possible. So I'm not going to go on the likes of Trent and Frimpong, who've just switched clubs. Frimpong to Liverpool and Trent to Madrid, and other sort of right backs like that, because I don't think they're going to be realistic targets for Aston Villa. And obviously, given that we're not Champions League now and we are Europa League, we then have to sort of look at targets and players that would be willing to come in and play in the Premier League, but also be happy with sort of the Europa League as well. So it's a tough ask. I mean, I was looking at transfer market, as I said, and I was looking at various right backs, and surprisingly, Matty Cash came up as the 15th highest valued right back in world football at the moment. His value is 28 million, 15th. He was on a level, on the same level as someone like Denzel Dumfries, who I take it, obviously Dumfries is a couple of years older, but Denzel Dumfries is a miles better right back than Matty Cash ever will be. So I was surprised to see that they sort of valued them at the same level. Denzel Dumfries is someone that I would love to have signed at Villa. Obviously, I don't see that happening at all now, but I think there was a chance at the beginning of the season that he was kind of unsettled, but I think he'll be probably hanging around at Inter Milan for the next couple of years now. But so, yeah, people like that. But it just surprised me that he was the 15th highest transfer value right back in the world. Which was, so we're going to look at a few other options now, and some of these names will be familiar. The first one I'm going to kick this off at is Latrell Gertruda, very familiar name to Aston Villa fans, who became very close to signing from Feyenoord in January, or even before that as well. And then obviously he's decided to go to RB Leipzig. He's still kind of on the radar. His move to RB Leipzig has been underwhelming. Hasn't really made the impact as much as they thought he would. He is quite a utility player and has played right back, centre back, left back. CDM, all across those positions. So he is that sort of versatile player, which a lot of managers do like. And I can see why Unai Emery did like him, because obviously he's played the majority of his football at RB Leipzig as a centre-back. So he can give you that option if you want to solidify on the right-hand side and have the left-back sort of pushing forward, which makes sense with sort of Ian Maatsen coming into the team now as well. So Gertruda is someone that we could look at again. He's cost RB Leipzig the best part of 28 million, I think it was. We've just had Kostan Nedeljkovic on loan there at RB Leipzig. Is there a swap deal that could be done? Obviously, we pay a lot more money on top as well. And maybe we get rid of Nedeljkovic and we give them money as well, and we can get in someone like Gertruda. Because as I said, he hasn't really played that many games. He's only started 50% of the matches that he's been available for. Lots of appearances off the bench. I think sometimes being that utility player doesn't always work in your favour. But he could be a player that could play, because he could play right back, he can play centre back, and I think Emery likes having that right back who can play centre back as well. Obviously, I don't want to see Ezri Konsa out there anymore. I don't even want to see Disasi out there and him brought back to the club. So Gertruda is someone that we could look at. He's still young, 24 years of age, and he was someone that was heavily linked with us. So I don't think those links just go away. I think we keep an eye on those sorts of players and see what kind of progress they've made at RB Leipzig. And as I said, the signing has been underwhelming. I think that they would be willing to let him go as long as they can recoup majority of the 28 million that they spent. So with Nedeljkovic plus 20 mil or 15 mil, be enough to entice them to do a deal? Possibly. So that's the first name that sort of jumps off the sheet there is Gertruda. The second one, I mean, he's been a very good right back, or right wing back, shall I say, this season, is Daniel Munoz from Crystal Palace. My major concern about this one, and I'll move on swiftly, is that I don't think he can play right back. I think he's a right wing back, and there's a big difference in the positions. He loves to get forward. He's very good at getting forward, having that freedom on the right-hand side. Defensively, I think there are a lot of question marks about his defensive attributes, but what the system is at Palace is that he doesn't need to do that much defensive work. He's obviously got those three centre-backs sort of covering that sort of side as well. So for me, Munoz is 29. It's a non-starter really, but I just thought it's a name that I'd like to throw in the mix. I think he's been outstanding this season, but we don't play right wing backs, and I think he's an out-and-out wing back. So I'll move on from Daniel Munoz, who I thought was good. Another option that I want to talk about is a right back for Fiorentina called Dodo. He's a 26-year-old Brazilian right back. He's been getting sort of rave reviews in the Serie A for his attacking play, his joining up the play really well at right back, getting forward, getting back. As I said, 26, good age, played for Fiorentina for a few years now. Is it time for a new challenge? I know that they've just sold Michael Akode on a permanent to Brentford. So would they want to part with a second right back so soon? Not so sure, but he looks decent enough. His transfer value is about 22 million. Again, we need to balance out with PSR. Could we afford to spend 22 million on a right back like that? Maybe we can involve a Nedeljkovic swap deal, perhaps, or something like that. So that's an option there. We've also got Andres Garcia, as I mentioned just there as well. I mean, is it too early to promote him to starting right back? Do we still need him to sort of bed in a little bit more and play rotation basis? I think the rotation role for him is going to be best. I don't think he's ready to start week in, week out as a right back for us. And I don't see Matty Cash wanting to play in a rotation basis or as a backup. So that's why I think maybe it's time for him to go. And there were links with like Atletico Madrid last year. I think they were sort of interested in Matty Cash. Could that interest be reignited again? So, yeah, another option for right back that I'm looking at. Obviously, we've looked at the loan market pretty closely this season. Obviously, bringing in like Rashford, Disasi, and Asensio. Could we be looking at the loan market again? So Jeremy Frimpong has just joined Liverpool. I'm not saying we're going to go for him at all, but Connor Bradley is the sort of backup right back at Liverpool. And if they've just signed Frimpong to replace Trent, does Bradley want to play more football? I think he looks very, very good from the times that he's coming at Liverpool. He's obviously a Northern Ireland international as well. He's 21 years of age. Does he want to play more regularly? Would he be that upgrade for Matty Cash. From what I've seen, he looks very good. I do like him. Would be interesting to see whether you could get him on a loan or could you get him on a permanent. But Conor Bradley is someone certainly that should be on the radar and we should make inquiries for, is what I would say, whether it be loan or looking at sort of a permanent deal, because they've just signed Frimpong. Frimpong's still quite young, I believe, like 25, I think. You know, he's going to be the right back for Liverpool for the next, 5, 6, 7 years, perhaps, I would say. So that leaves Conor Bradley as a backup. Is he happy with that? So there's an option for you. Looking at more of an experienced name and someone who's played in the Premier League before. He's obviously, this guy's in Saudi at the moment. He's João Cancelo. He did well at Manchester City, up and down on that right-hand side. Obviously, his wages are going to be a massive concern. But the feeling is that he wants to leave. I think it's Al Hilal he's at the moment. He's not enjoying his time in Saudi, probably enjoying the money, but not enjoying the football. And he's looking for a move back to Europe. So is João Cancelo someone that we can look at, an experienced head, 31 years of age, been there, done that. Don't know what he would cost in terms of salary and transfer fee, but there will be obviously little sell-on value there. But he's someone who would be kind of Premier League ready, I suppose, and just an option out there. Not someone that I would go for because there is no, 31. By the time you give him a 2-3 year contract, he's pretty much done. So, yeah, not too sure about that one myself, but just a name. Sixth option on the list is another Lille player. We've obviously been linked recently and quite heavily with Lucas Chevalier, who I think and I believe is definitely going to come to Villa, especially if Emi does leave. I think he's the first name on the scouting list for goalkeepers. Is the right back Thiago Santos. Again, Lille that we have played last year in the Conference League. This guy stood out really well, especially in that first leg. I thought he was getting up and down that right-hand side really well for Lille. And he's continued to get really good reviews for Lille as well in the French league as well. And obviously they did well in the Champions League as well. And he was a big part of that. So Thiago Santos is a 22-year-old Portuguese fullback valued at 15 million according to Transfer Market. Could he be someone that we look at as an up-and-coming? Is he too similar level to Andres Garcia? Or, could he be seen as a possible upgrade to Matty Cash? For you guys that watch Liga and watch Lille a bit more closer, let me know what you think about him. But I heard some really good reviews about him. Another name that we were linked with in January was a Brazilian right back called Wesley. Not to be confused with the Wesley that we had before, but Wesley Franca, I believe it is, from Flamengo. 21-year-old right back, rapid. From what I've seen of him, he loves to get forward. Absolutely loves to get forward. Loads of pace. Final ball sometimes can be questioned. And then obviously his defensive duties doesn't get tested too much in that Brazilian league defensively. And I didn't see too many clips of him sort of winning challenges and defending. It was all about him attacking. So, I don't know whether he's the next coming of Cafu, but he's someone who we were linked with and we could possibly look at again. But then it's that adjustment from Brazilian football and Brazilian culture coming into the UK, coming into the Premier League. Will that take a lot of time for him to settle in to a new environment, a new culture and a way of living? So Wesley Franco is another name that's out there. Again, another name that's been circulated again in January was Oscar Menguiza from Celta Vigo. I think we looked at this one quite closely, but then decided Andres Garcia was a more mobile and more better option for us. Menguiza is your quite strong defensive-minded right back, does get forward on occasion, but he's not got that blistering pace and doesn't get up and down the field. He's more of a sort of just a cut back and he'll cross it in. Think like El Mohammadi from back in the day for Villa. El Mohammadi did try to get forward and overlap when he could. That's kind of what Menguiza sort of does as well. He doesn't bomb forward. He'll just sort of be conservative with his sort of overlaps and support runs. But could we go in for him again? I wasn't really impressed with him when we looked at him in January. And I think we went for Andres Garcia, which I think was the better option. I don't think Menguiza is an option. He's 26 as well. You probably want regular first-team football. I'm not too sure about that one. And then the other sort of right back that we looked at as well was a Rayo Vallecano, Romanian Ratu Rasiu, another 26-year-old valued at 12 million. again, is he an upgrade on Matty Cash? I'm not too sure. I think that he probably wouldn't be the right name to bring in. Obviously, if we were looking at that backup option, if we didn't have Andres Garcia, then fair enough, these names could be looked at again. But I think we've committed to Andres Garcia. We're going to keep him as that sort of backup rotation defender. So I don't see us going back in for Andre Ratul. Another name, Premier League defender. I like him. It's Tariq Lamptey from Brighton. He has been injury prone, I think, this season and missed a large chunk of the season. He is only just 24 years of age. He seems to be around for quite a while. 12 million transfer value. Very rapid, very kind of direct with his running. Good option to have. I just feel like, his injury record really concerns me. Very small in stature as well. Is he, if he plays in the back four with us, is he likely to get picked off from opponents trying to target him sort of with aerial balls and things like that? But he looks very good going forward, is what I would say. He did score against us as well this season. So I'm not too sure about Tariq Lamptey, but it looks like he could be an option. He could be Brighton could be interested in letting him go. So I'll be interested to sort of hear your thoughts on Tariq Lamptey. And then a bonus one here is a name that won't go away, is Juan Foyth from Villarreal. Obviously, Unai knows him. He's only 27 years of age. He's also coming back from injuries and had a few injuries in his career. But he can give you that solid sort of right back, centre back, staying back kind of option, which Unai does like for the balance. And that allows sort of Matson on the left-hand side to really get forward. So Juan Foyth is a name that will never go away. I think he'll be linked with us, like João Felix, in every single transfer window. And if it gets to, the point that we need someone, perhaps. But again, is he an upgrade on Matty Cash? Probably not. I mean, I've said vocally that we need to upgrade on Matty Cash. But looking at this list of right backs, I wouldn't say there are that many real massive improvements. I mean, Gertruda could be one that's, a good defender. But the rest of them, if I'm looking at the list now, they're not massive upgrades. If we were going to get someone like a Denzel Dumfries, for example, then absolutely yes, 100% do it now. But at the moment, there doesn't seem to be that many right backs available that we can go for. You obviously got the big names like the Trents and the Frimpongs who are not going anywhere, and then you've got other people as well that not going to go anywhere, like Timber and White and Reece James. And there are right backs out there, but what I'm saying is that I think they're a little bit out of our league. We've also got PSR to contend with as well, so we can't just go out and splash 50 million on the right back. We have to be kind of conservative with it. So I do believe we still need to upgrade on Matty Cash, but whether Unai and Monchi have got the scouting network out there and looking at La Liga and looking at up and coming right backs, I'm not sure, but we do need to upgrade on it. And then there's a couple of free options here as well. Kenny Tete from Fulham is available on a free. His contract's winding down at the end of June. Again, I don't really see him as a massive upgrade to Matty Cash, but again, an option to have there. And then the other name is Kyle Walker-Peters from Southampton, who I personally think is better going forward than Matty Cash. But is he that massive upgrade that we need? That's going to really make a difference. Again, not too sure. I said if we didn't sign on Andres Garcia, then perhaps we could get Walker-Peters as kind of a backup rotation option. But I don't really see him as a massive improvement on Matty Cash. But I just wanted to jump on and sort of give my thoughts on the right back situation. Lots of talk about wanting to replace Matty Cash, but realistically, who is out there that we can get? If there are any other names that you know of that we could be looking at, then do drop them in the comments. Are there any more sort of Premier League based right backs that have stood out this season that we could go for? I couldn't really think of that too many. And then you're looking at abroad at Serie A and Bundesliga. Obviously there are a few names hanging around there, but again, how likely are we to get, Bayern Munich's right back? It's not going to work. Konrad Laimer is not going to come. So we have to be kind of realistic with it. But guys, drop a like, drop a subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on who we should be bringing in. And until the next video, guys, have a good day. Bye-bye.